We're heading to Tennessee and Indiana for this week's edition of Lucas Oil on the Edge. If you're a fan of motorsports, I guarantee that you'll love the events we have coming your way. First up is a shootout, extreme rock racing style, where the top 6 drivers in XRRA will have 2 chances to bring in the lowest time and claim the win. Later on, we'll head to the historic Indianapolis Speedrome for a 50-lap figure 8 extravaganza. It's going to be a fun-filled day, and it starts now.
Got it tacked up, and if you get too close, you're getting cracked up. Stone cold when I roll, coming out of the hole. Get back, cause I'm out of control. I'm on the edge.
Lucas Oil on the edge, and there's a good start. Bad start for that driver, though. This is the General Tire Extreme Off-Road Rock Racing in Jellico, Tennessee. Ken Stout and Brian Olson ready to bring you all the action, and they always tweak these rules just a little bit, and I like what they've done this year. They've pitted these guys up 1 against 2, 3 against 4, based on how they qualify this year. It should be some great side-by-side racing, Brian.
Absolutely. The key here is, as while it does look like these 2 vehicles will be racing one another, they're actually racing against the clock, and here is the course. They'll leave the starting line as 1. There are 2 lanes, and they're tough ones to get up early on. If you make it up past there, you make your way through the course, and the key, once again, is a couple runs, a cumulative time will be the champion for the day, the quickest one.
In talking to some of the drivers, this is the most difficult part of the track, because they obviously have to come up this hill as fast and as aggressively as they can. But when they get here to the top, they need to tap the brakes, because as they make this turn right here, if they are going too fast, well, they could end up on their head with their wheels facing the sky.
Man, that was some rough rocks right there. Danny Rower, 10:11.66, qualified 6. Jason Fuely, 9:56.82, the number there.
Richie Keller qualified 4th. He'll pair up as well. Some of these vehicles, as you can see, purpose-built 2-chassis, extreme off-road rock racing vehicles. They can control the wheels and how they brake and how they apply throttle individually. You can see all the suspension up in the front. It is pretty impressive stuff. Shannon Campbell, though, is your #1 qualifier as he set quick time.
Here comes Jason Fuely and Danny Rower, our very first pair out.
Yeah, and you talked about how difficult this was right off the bat, and here is a good look at it.
If you can get through, it's kind of like, oh, baby, on the side already is Danny Rower's machine. So Fuely will continue on here in the car number 333, but that is a tough break. There's the main thing, gets out, says, I'm all right.
Just as excited, though, isn't he? And, of course, Fuely will have to run that other lane in round number 2, so they both have a crack at both lanes.
Unfortunately, when you do accumulate both times and both runs together, take the 2 runs and put them together, you'll get no big numbers at all there, Will Roar. And Fuely finishes up 2:18.56. That's a good run there.
Well, we see the end result here, but how'd you get in this predicament?
Well, I try to go a little too fast. I've been doing good running this path all day and cutting it real close to the edge, and it's the only way to get an advantage is push it, and I push it a little too much. A little excited making it in the shootout and a little hyped up, and that's where it gets you.
You got to go for it, like he said, though, if you're going to win it. Rick DeRemo and Richie Keller.
You know, it's just like drag race in some ways and far the opposite in others. If you get past the shake zone, we talked about in some of our drag programs in the past, but here it's about getting past the rock zone early on. And I will tell you right now, this guy's getting the job done.
Yeah, DeRemo with an awesome start right there and really standing on the throttle hard. Keller's got a lot of ground to make up. Of course, he just needs to stay clean because he'll have a shot at that lane in round 2.
You can take a look at these things. You can pretty well see that the engines are behind the drivers. And there are several different configurations as DeRemo is quicker at 2.30 to 242.
But a good bit slower than that first pair that we saw, by the way. On board with Brian Shirley And again, this first obstacle very tough. And then, of course, you can also see later on in the run, they have to have a lot of ground clearance to get over those boulders that they finish up with at the very end. A Monster Energy back machine here.
They're one of the best in the business, man. Shirley gets matched up here with Shannon Campbell.
Woo!
Wow.
Don't be scared.
Man.
And these are the boulders I was talking about. This is where you really need that ground clearance. And, of course, the General tires are so tough. Look at that time, 2:05 and 2:14.
After the first run, Shannon Campbell leads Brian Shirley by 9 seconds. That may seem like a lot, but if Shannon gets caught on these rocks, well, then Brian can be our winner here today.
Is my winch disconnected?
Stay with us. Round 2 action is coming up.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast is being brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, anywhere is possible. Herculiner truck bed liners, when the tough comes easy.
Welcome back to OTE. These extreme rock racers may be racing against the clock, but that doesn't mean that they can let their guard down against the guy in the other lane. Each of the top 6 drivers have showed they have what it takes to win here today, and the times from round 1 show just how close this competition is. Shannon Campbell is in the lead with Brian Shirley trailing by a mere 9 seconds. Right on Shirley's heels is third-place driver Jason Fuley, who's only 13 seconds behind Campbell's time. One thing's for sure, round 2 is gonna be a good one.
Jason Fuley, Danny Rower, round number 2 gets set to go here. These are the lower qualified machines now in 5 and 6 overall. But again, it's about cumulative times after 2 runs.
Boy, that thing just dancing all over the place. Side by side, they roll up out of there, and one gets the preferred line, and that one is Danny Rohrer, who timed out in the first lap. Unfortunately for him, the first obstacle laid it over on its side.
The 333, though, is trying to make some numbers here. Fuley had a pretty good first run at 2:18 and 56, and right here now will take the lead. Keep in mind, it doesn't matter whether you win or lose or get there first or second. The key is how quick can you do it?
We both know when you're beside somebody else, it gets that adrenaline going, though. Jason Fuley, look at that time, 2:18.59. His first lap, 2:18.56, within 0.03 of a second of being identical. That is amazing.
That is consistency right there. That's drag racing-like consistency. All right, DeRemo and Keller now get matched up. That's the 202 machine of Keller closest to the camera. He's hung up. The machine on the far lane is hung up. Oh,
man.
This sounded bad, didn't it?
And that's why they call it extreme. Watch out for that tree.
Drivers all make it through the start of the course here.
Listen to that thing, man. It sounds sweet.
He is hammering that thing.
DeRemo standing on the throttle there as he tries to close the gap.
And you get this.
Last time around, DeRemo the quicker of the two with a lap time of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. But Keller's going to nip him this time with a lap time of 2:21.
Some of these rigs are set up where the drivers can only control the back brakes, some control the front and the back, and some are set up where even all 4 tires are controlled separately. That actually allows the guys to navigate through the courses better, and if something should go wrong, they can still finish with 3 of the 4.
Are you a fan of Lucas Oil On the Edge? Want more behind-the-scenes information and footage? Become a fan of OTE on Facebook, and you can get your fill of all the on-the-edge craziness and excitement. Simply log on to facebook.com and type in Lucas Oil On the Edge. We've saved the best for last, as the top 2 drivers are pitted against each other in this final round of competition. Fuley had an impressive second run that mirrored his first round time of 2:18. Campbell and Shirley will have to be fast and smooth if they want to win here today in Jellico.
Brian Shirley and Shannon Campbell. Campbell is the man to beat right now.
And I got to tell you, these are the 2 guys you always watch for. as the Monster Energy drink makes way. And here's an awkward situation that we've not seen so far. Shirley and Campbell actually take the same line going up the hill rather than taking opposite lanes.
Yeah, I was actually very surprised to see that as well. I agree with you. You can't win if you follow. You got to take your own lane if you're going to take a shot at it.
You know, there are a couple spots on the track where you can make a pass. We saw it earlier with Aurora and Julie, and now Shirley and Campbell. That's Campbell you're looking at right there. Who had quick time of the round earlier at 2.05. It was a 2.14 for Shirley. So these things are way evenly matched.
Both guys doing a great job, but without question, Shannon Campbell is on another solid run here if he can get through this boulder section. You've got to keep the equipment alive, so you have to take care of it through that extremely rough area. And here comes Campbell. That will be good enough to win the event. A backed up time of 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Congratulations, a combined time for Shannon Campbell at 4 minutes, 16 seconds. A solid effort here today.
Shannon, it's supposed to be difficult, man. You're making it look easy out there. What's your key to success?
Just keeping it together today. We're having a rough day. It's just real rough out there, and slowing it down helped out, I think. I think everybody got in this morning and overdrove everything, and I know I did on the first couple of laps, and it took me a little bit to calm down and just kind of come back, and we had some decent times, so that helped out.
Every race you've had so far this season, you've won. I didn't jinx you earlier today. You think you can keep up the success for the rest of the season?
Well, that's my goal. I mean, it'd be a good one to keep if I could, but I don't know, a whole lot of luck and keep my junk together.
All right, when we come back, man, we've got a lot of great racing action, including some of the most exciting figure eight action of the season.
You're watching Lucas Oil on the Edge, and we're back with another great race. Have you ever wondered where figure eight racing came from? It's said that someone decided to race on a figure eight track right after World War II in the late 1940s, and that track may have had an overpass so that the cars didn't cross each other's paths. Most historians believe that the first track where drivers crossed each other's paths was the 1/5 mile long Indianapolis Speedrome, and that's where we're headed right now.
Ken Stout and Brian Olson here to call the Lucas Oil World Figure 8 Tour 50-lap race at the Speedrome here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Wild racing here. This event brings out the absolute best figure eight racers from around the country. Let's check in with Rob.
Well, fellas, here we are. I am in the crossover, and this is what it's all about. Figure eight racing, world figure eight racing here at the Speedrome. Guys to watch, we have a lot of former champions in the field. Tunney, McMurtry, Dawsey, Norton. These are the guys to watch. 50 laps of action. It's going to be fun here at the Speedrome.
Is he going to stay out there?
I don't think so. Wouldn't be a very good place to be, I can tell you that right now.
They're talented drivers, but I probably wouldn't stay there either. All right, here's a look at the World Figure 8 Tour starting grid. Of course, Lucas Oil bringing us this event, and as Rob mentioned, I mean, these guys are the who's who of figure eight racing. Don't think this is a joke or something that they take lightly. There's a lot of money up for grabs around the country, and when these guys come out to play, they play hard. Here's some onboard cameras as well, so we'll get you up close and personal. These cars are purpose-built, and they are very, very fast.
In figure eight racing, much like any other type of motorsport, you got to have the complete package. You got to have a good driver, you got to have a good race car, and you have to have a good crew. But here at the Speedrome, it is a very technical race course. Why? Because it's very tight. We talked to some of the drivers about the best way to get around the Speedrome. This is what they had to say.
Well, first of all, you got to have a decent car, one that handles real well, and I think to go with that, you got to be smooth.
You got to have a lot of forward bite, and it's got to turn really good, which is a hard combination to get together on. You know, you can make it turn in good, but you can lose forward bite. But once you get the combination right, you can be good here.
The freer your car can roll, the faster you are, and this track's all about speed.
You got to be really brave. You got to know when to go through the crossover full speed and when to hit the brakes.
Really, the key is if you're slowing down at all, it's in the corners. You know, it's never down the chute. You got to make, when you're going down the chute, you should have your plan already made up.
Just trying to get any wrecks and just go as fast as you can and brake as hard as you can.
The first one that breaks Usually you're going to catch them and lap them. So hopefully tonight I won't be the one breaking in the crossover.
And these guys have to set up these cars kind of like road race cars, because they're turning left and right. So to keep these things from pushing or being too tight, they'll use a Gleason-style rear end, an open differential. They can't use that locker because it'll create a tight car that wants to push badly. But with those Gleason-style rear ends, you also have to set those up so you don't spin that inside rear tire.
Similar in nature, if you were talking about a drag car that has a spool that never allows the other wheel to turn, these machines, totally the opposite, right?
On board with Jack Dawsey Jr., and there's a look at Bobby Whitaker. You're going to see a Tunney in here at some point in time because there's 4 of them.
4 of them. Ben, Jesse, Bruce, and Austin, all 4 made the show, and here's Bruce right now.
And as you can see, these guys going side by side all the way around this race course. It takes amazing car control, and again, the cars have to handle well to do that.
There's the number 2 machine. That is Austin Tunney, who has taken the lead. Started out, Austin did, in the number 6 spot.
And again, these guys will battle hard. Of course, plenty of head games here. If you're on the inside and you can push a guy out a little bit and gain a small advantage, they will do that from time to time. The problem is when you do that, you open the bottom up for the guy behind you.
Not only do you have to concern yourself about the crosshairs, which is the center of the figure 8 itself, colliding with somebody, but this is one of those deals where, you know, bumping and rubbing is basically allowed, and there's a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. You're in a hardcore race along with running through that intersection as well. And we've got one spinning around. That is a 71 on Steve Cross. Looks like he will keep it lit.
Oh, that's a great shot there, Rodney Side. Looking at the front of that machine toward the front wheel area there. Back on board with Curtis Murtry.
Just quick on the throttle. You don't want any tires spin at all if you can keep that from happening. These cars have plenty of horsepower.
There are a number of drivers in the hunt for the figure 8 win. The laps are winding down, and we'll have the exciting conclusion when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast is being brought to you by Lucas Oil, made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, anywhere is possible. ERICKSON tie downs and tow straps. Tie it, tow it, move it.
Band cam, everybody having a blast out here. I'll tell you, man, they love the Speedrome, and this is a battle for the lead.
Oh, and it is a good one. Austin Tunney, the machine you're looking at there, the driver, Curtis McMurtry.
As you might imagine, I think a lot of the guys typically can turn left pretty good, but turning right is certainly different for the oval track races. But these guys do it real well, and right there, McMurtry taking a look on the inside as we go to this battle for third.
Grigg and Norton Jr. doing the deal here as we go on to the windshield cam here for the blue car.
Rob has more on Norton.
Well, guys, already making some moves is a newly crowned World Figure 8 World Champion, R.J. Norton Jr. Now, I talked to him earlier in the pits about setup. What do they do to these cars to make them fast? He told me that he runs a little bit of reverse stagger. Why? Well, he wants to be a little loose with that right-hand turn because he said a lot of guys struggle making the right-hand turn. If he can get his car to turn through what is turns 4 and 3 on the oval, he'll be faster in the Speedrome.
You know something, Ken, that always amazed me about this 50-lap event is the intersection has been so safe. We seldom see an incident there. Why?
I think it's a level of competition. It is very high, and that is a battle for the lead. McMurtry sticks the nose down in there, bumps Tunney high, and then takes it away.
You can bet that that number 2 car might end up using some bumper here in a little while. Because as we talked about earlier, that's just how the game's played here sometimes.
Well, McMurtry, once he got in front, has already put some real estate between the two of them. McMurtry's got a car here tonight.
Yeah, that baby is definitely set up well. And again, I take a look at the middle of that thing, that figure 8 right there, at the crosshairs of the crossover. It just makes me wonder how it doesn't happen.
Back to what you were asking as we watch this battle for a second. as Tunney is slowly going backwards now. Look how loose that car is. He's about to get past here again. You can see how far out he's going to set up. He is definitely struggling with that car, but I think it's a high level of competition. These guys do it all the time. They're used to these speeds, and they know that if you wreck in that intersection, your night's over. They can time it perfectly right there.
And Norton has done a great job, and Norton has definitely found the setup. We heard Rob talk about it earlier. Look at that shock travel to the right front of that thing. He's going to make a move on Tunney just any moment now. He's definitely got the better race car by way of handling.
Yeah, and he needs to make that move because Bruce Tunney is right behind Norton. So Norton is the meat and the Tunney sandwich right now, and he's trying to sneak through there.
And that is not the kind of sandwich you want to be a part of it.
Absolutely not. McMurtry driving away from everybody, though. That car looks flawless here tonight. The tap out on the sills of that rear wing is huge. He's on the final lap and is going to come across here. Curtis McMurtry, your winner.
That is a good-looking race car and a good-looking job of driving that race car for Curtis McMurtry, and he will be the champion here tonight in Indianapolis.
There's a look at your final results here for the World Figure 8 Tour. Excellent job. Congratulations to all the fans. Had a blast here tonight.
And guys, climbing out of the number 72, your winner here, the 50-lap event, Curtis McMurtry, two-time Speedrome champion, two-time World Figure 8 champion. But talk about that race, lap 32, the battle with the kid, Austin Dillon. Nice move in turn 4.
Yeah, well, his car started going away a little later in the race, so I had to try to be patient and take the opportunity when his stuff went away. But I got to thank the guys on the car that helped and the crew, and gave me a car that could run tonight. And after a rough week last week,
you had to start mid-pack, so coming up through the field, did you have any concern having to pass all those cars?
I knew I had to be careful and bide my time there for a little while and just try to be patient. That's the whole thing, and sometimes it's hard to be patient in these races, and you got to be patient and let things kind of take the course. And it kind of come to us, and then we had waited for Austin's stuff to go away a little bit, and we had a good car we was able to overtake.
Thanks for watching this episode of Lucas Oil on the Edge. An extreme rock race and a figure 8 race, it doesn't get much better than that. For Ken Stout, Brian Olson, David Hamilton, and Rob Klepper, I'm Sarah Daly. We'll see you next time with more competitive, adrenaline-fueled motorsports. Just remember, you're not living unless you're on the edge.